I don't know who needs to hear this, but I feel like if you clicked on this video, you need to hear this. So I want you to know that it's not as bad as it seems. How many times have you gone through something in your life where you catastrophize the whole thing? You already done picked your casket out, planning the funeral at Fix It Jesus Baptist, and telling yourself that it's just the worst thing ever. Like, this I can't come back from. I won't bounce back from this heartbreak. I won't bounce back from this mental health issue, this emotional issue, this physical issue. And how many times have you? Or how many times has it been not as severe or not as crazy as you might have thought it was? So I'm making this video because I need you guys to understand, and myself included as always, that many times we make things a lot worse in our minds. And I asked myself, like, why do we do this? Why do we as humans make things so much worse than our actual reality? And one of the things that came up, and I actually looked it up and there was some truth to it, is that many times when we make things a lot worse than they really are, it's because we're so used to defeat. We're so used to things not going our way. We're so used to having to take it on the chin and keep it moving. Or we're so used to having to heal by ourselves and be independent and be overly withdrawn to where no one else can really help us. It's almost like we treat ourselves as though we're not worthy of someone's love or someone's encouragement or someone's support. And we kind of already make sure that we're defeated before we even get a chance to join the race. It's like, why even win the race? Why even run the race if I know I won't win? So I'm just going to sit out. I already know I'm not going to win. I'm not going to do it. And that mentality is one of the very things that add to your own grief and add to your own stress, add to your own anxiety. And it's just not fair. Like, it's just not fair to you. That's not, again, I always say this, that's not fair because that's not why you're here. I can tell you right now, I don't know you from Adam, right? And I don't need to. But what I do know is that your purpose is not to sit up here in this world and sit up here suffering. Sit up here without love. Sit up here without vitality and optimism and excitement and joy. I'm not saying your whole life is going to be a cakewalk, right? It comes with its ebbs and flow. But at the end of the day, it also does not have to be something where you're just always feeling blue. So I want to remind you, whatever it is that's been on your mind, whatever's been bothering you, whatever's been stressing you out, it is not here to stay. How many times has something plagued your mind, plagued your emotions, plagued your whole being, and you look back and it's like, oh my God, why did I do all that stressing? Like, why was I so stressed out about this? And you look back and you think about how much that stress and how much that sadness really affected you. Think about the last time you got into some sort of depressive moment, or you felt very anxious, or you had your week where you were in a slump. Think about how much not only aspects of your life suffered, like maybe you weren't as making healthy choices. Maybe you weren't talking to people who loved you. Maybe you cut yourself off from the world. Maybe you were doing some really harmful things to yourself, not intentionally, but that's just what it was. So not only did you do that, but you also weren't able to show up for the people who need you and show up for yourself, all because you made something way worse in your head than it had to be. And I know you can recall that because off the top of my head, I can think of times where I made things so much worse in my mind than it actually was in reality. And I feel like it's also just a protective mechanism. Like we talked about earlier, like when we feel sad or we feel stressed and we feel depressed, a lot of us go inward. I know I do, because my thing is, people have their own problems. So I'm not the type to just dump and call everybody, yeah, girl, I'm depressed again today. Yep, I need some support. Like, that's just not like me. I rather just go in my own little cocoon and then come out when I'm ready. But I have certain things in place to make sure that I don't get overly sad or overly reclusive to where I'm just not even out anymore, or I'm a whole different person. So I have some checks in place. And I'm sure you do too, or I hope you do too, have some sort of arsenal to where you don't get too stuck in your slump, okay? Because we need you at your best. You matter. And you are here to leave some sort of very, very personal and perfect imprint. And we need you to do that. But in order to do that, you need to be functioning at your best. So I hope you have certain things in place so that you don't get in those slumps if you're not somebody to call people up and brag about all your problems. But I feel like sometimes that's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary to speak about it. Sometimes it's necessary to let people see that I'm not as strong as I appear and I do need help, right? So we can reach out to people. People care. And I know you might not feel like they do, but people really do care. Like that cousin of yours, or an aunt, an uncle, or somebody that you were really close with as a coworker, right? The most random people. If you feel like you can't find any random person that cares, talk to somebody you don't even know, like somebody randomly, like somebody on the street. Sometimes they're the nicest people. I know it sounds crazy, but if you feel inclined, talk to them. I've had some wonderful conversations with strangers. And I don't really think I've ever met a stranger. We're all very much alike, then we're different. So I'm saying all of that to say it's not as bad as you think. It's not. Whatever it is, I promise you, you are well equipped to deal with it. You're well equipped to face it. And you're well equipped to make sure that you don't keep falling this deeply into your slump. Because simply put, it's not fair. It's not fair to you. Forget everybody else. Let's take everybody else out the equation, because they don't matter. Like if we're not right, nobody else matters. That's how I feel. Because if I really say I care about people, I will make sure that I'm my best so that I can give my best. Right? So you can't even come at me talking about, oh, well, if I only care about myself, then I'm self-centered and that's not fair. No, it makes sense. Right? Like, so we matter first. We're the most important person in our lives, because then everybody else gets a piece of us that we don't even have to give. And that doesn't make sense. So that's why I want you to prioritize yourself and check in with you and make sure that you're realizing that because of your past and all the things that you've gotten through, all the things that you've gotten over on your own or with help or however it is that you managed, but you managed and you became a victor. You triumphed. So why can't that apply to this time? I just want you guys to take notice that that is a possibility. It can work this time again. So whatever it is that you're going through, we're with you. I'm with you. Like everybody's going through something. I'm not trying to make light of whatever it is, but always remember that it's never as bad as it seems. And you've gotten over things before. You are a fighter. You are a survivor. And we're getting out of that mode so that we can start to thrive. And that's all that I want you to see. And that's all that I want you to take from this video. You are meant to thrive, not just merely survive. And when we adopt that mindset, I think it makes it a little bit easier to look at our life and give it that benefit of the doubt that things are actually changing for your betterment rather than out here to hurt you. Life wants to work with you. Life wants to give to you. Life wants you happy. Life wants you healthy. Life wants you fulfilled. It doesn't want you feeling negative. It doesn't want you feeling sad. It doesn't want you feeling downtrodden. That's not part of your purpose. I mean, yeah, you know. We're all going to go through some shit. So yeah, it is part of your purpose to some degree, but that's not your whole existence. So I'm going to leave it there. You already know I'm drinking my juice before I go to the gym, which I don't really feel like going to the gym today. I'm not in the best mood, honestly. But I still got up here and did this because I promised myself that I was going to do this every day regardless. I came on here, listen, it's just one of those days. So I might go to the gym, I might not. So I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I am drinking my juice. So yeah, guys, I hope that this gave you some sort of comfort, and I will be seeing you tomorrow.